Hey, this is the Prophet with Nick Black. It's time to chit chat. You know nothing about blockchain. We here to fix that. You want the news on them new stocks? This where you get that. So go and grab you a nice chair. It's time to sit back and talk to Prophet. Hey, hey, you talking to the Prophet? Hey, hey. We talking condos and nice clothes and driving Lambos. I remember them night codes, we couldn't stand those. We tried to drive on them high roads, but had to stay low. Now there's solutions to hard bills we couldn't pay for. I talked to Prophet to get some profit, we couldn't change the top. If it's a stock and I need to cop it, I wait for him to drop it. Ain't no option, let's get it popping. We chilling in the trap. I need some crypto, put it in my pocket by any means I rock. This is the Prophet with Nick Black. It's time to chit chat. You know nothing about blockchain, we here to fix that. You want the news on them new stocks? This where you get that. So go and grab you a nice chair. It's time to sit back and talk to Prophet. Hey, hey, you talking to the Prophet? Hey, hey, you talking to the Prophet?
I need to get a grandmother track, like some grandmother track. All right, so we are going to talk about all sorts of stuff. Let me do a little kind of quiet intro music. Let me say hello to Biotech Breakout, G4SHA, or Shaw. Get Involved, CC Brown, McNabb, Baykeeper, Solid Gold. And let's go over here to the YouTubes. Joe Fernandez, Biotech Breakout on both sides of the fence. Ryan. Let's see. Scott Hill, Ella Paul, Expat Matt, Brady. What up, Brady? Phil, what up, Phil? Don't drive into oncoming traffic. That is counterproductive. Let's see. We got Mayan. We got Jared. What up, Jared? Todd in the house. Belinda, Sebastian. What's going on from Toronto? When I get a Netflix deal, man. When I can get these a-holes to read any of my stuff. Anybody that knows a lit agent, send them my way. I got 30 pilots that have never even been looked at. Jim, what's going on? Jerry in the house. BTC levels dropping fast. He's done. Quantities rising on next show exchange. Bam. Yeah, man. Layer ones, bro. Let's see. I get that a lot. Tiffany, what's going on? Hates Nick Black. Yeah, I know, right? Let's see. Nick. Plu, Vincent Rouleau, Joe Pirate, Spirella, Castley. Who am I missing? Oh, Nara, of course. Hoop and Tony. Michael. Okay, cool. So I think that's kind of the morning crew. Yeah, so we'll be right back after these non-commercial breaks. Okay, so buenos dias. Let's see. So markets are green, as you've seen. We had some chaos earlier yesterday. People were panicking a little bit. Did anybody else hear just a real quick piece of news? I don't really have many news bits to put up today because it's all the same kind of crap. We might look at news a little bit, but Rarible is going to be launching some NFT action on Flow. So it looks like Flow, the blockchain, may end up being the NFT blockchain. And I'm thinking if they get Rarible and they get some of these other companies to come on board, maybe Foundation, something like that, you could see a real shakeup in NFTs. And it makes sense, right? You can't use Ethereum for much of anything. Even now, we're all thankful that Ethereum's only 2,000. We're like, yeah, it's all the way down to 2,000. A token. So the fees are still ridiculous. Now, they're better than they'll probably be 3 months from now. So I would urge you, if you're going to do any swapping, moving, flip-flopping around of your Ethereum ERC20 tokens. Do it now. Don't wait. But yeah, keep that in your mind. Okay, bro. I don't know why I say that a lot. Simon, good to see you. And to that pipeline and oh, Michael, that's who I want to say. I want to say hello to Michael, and then I want to make sure that we get. So if I missed you or forgot you, let me know. Say, hey man, I'm not important. Jimmy, what up, Jimmy? Jasnop in the house. Okay, cool. So if you can, I'm not going to use a lot of profanity in this video, so we can like this video and it will actually stay on on YouTube. Because the other ones, after like 5 cuss words, I'm like, I'm out. Mega Pack, what up? So yeah, so we've had a bounce back in the markets. We will talk about it a little bit. What's going on at Pro Cointelegraph? They like Maker at $2,300. I don't know if I like Maker, but again, if it hits 90, I'm in. Live Peer is at 80. There's nothing really else, nothing else that's really exciting. I will say this though. Nexo, for those of you that bought Nexo, when it got down, but I think it got to $1.30 or maybe a little bit below. That was a nice little turn because that also helps you protect some of your interest. So basically the way the Nexo token works is if you have a Nexo account, you park any one of a number of assets. By the way, they're adding Polkadot to Nexo today, as in today, I believe, if the tweet was correct. And I also did get an email from Nexo. Matter of fact, I'll freaking read it because Nexo, it says, Dear Nexonian, that's me. If you're a Polkadot fan, we have good news for you. Nexo's connecting the dots to make DOT available on our platform, thus helping you increase your assets utility, easing selling pressure, and making hodling stress-free for users. Check out the services you can benefit from. You can buy DOT on Nexo and get it in your wallet within seconds. You can earn up to 8% on DOT. Now, why is that not great? Well, you can earn 12% over at Kraken. But you can't borrow against your assets on Kraken. My guess is this Nexo model is how every exchange is going to operate. They're going to all offer loans. They're going to be banks. The exchanges are going to be banks. These are the new banks. Banks 3.0 or 4.0, whatever. Anyway, so my guess is they'll all do this, but at least right now, if you had some, if you wanted to borrow against your Polkadot or you wanted to push it over there to move some other tokens around. So for instance, I may push some Polkadot over there, take some Bitcoin off, swap it out for another asset, push it back, pull back, whatever. There's all sorts of things you can do. So keep that in mind. And you can borrow, you can get credit, instant credit using DOT as collateral, and the rates start at 6.9%. But in order to do that, to get the 6.9%, which is the really good rate, well, you have to have some Nexo. Roughly 10% of your portfolio, and let me check on that, but 10% of your portfolio needs to be in Nexo, meaning that you have platinum. I don't have platinum. I got bumped. I had platinum for a long time. They bumped my ass. So what did they bump me to? God, 4.5% is what I get on my savings rate. Stablecoin savings rate, 10%, fiat 6, 5. Okay. So anyway, you need the, it says I need to buy 2,400 more Nexo. No, what I'm going to do is wait for Nexo to come back up. How about that? How'd that be? Anyway, there you go. Fancy days for all of us. So Polkadot's on Nexo. So that's kind of cool. So I am paying close attention to the Nexo token. I think it's going to do really well. Because it's a true, at least for now, it's a true utility token. My guess is that the Nexo token is doing what a lot of the exchange tokens will do on these different exchanges, right? So fee reduction, increase in your borrow, maybe your loan to value, things like that. And it is a pile of cash that's sitting there. And if the fit hits the shan, you could sell and off you go. Lori, what's going on? APY for DOT staking on KuCoin is is 15%. Really? Are you joshing me? Are you joshing me? Yeah. Well, yes. Dot staking on KuCoin, assuming you swap the liquidity token into. Wait. You're talking about two different things, I think. You're talking about if you swap the liquidity token into DOT from Nexo, or are you still talking about Kraken? I'm confused. Anyway, let me know. I love the Kraken, but I thought it was 12%. But I have some DOT over there, so I'd be happy to get 15%. What? Okay. Lori, good to see you. Crazy Days, good to see you. What's up with the cryptocurrency market cap? Well, it's up. It's up. I don't know what's telling you. I don't have any more information than it's higher than it was. The way they calculate is a percentage of Nexo is kind of obtuse. Well, they look at your whole account and then they say if you have $100 in there, you have to have $10 worth of Nexo at that moment. That's how that be. Listen, it's not perfect, but it's the best. It's the best choice we have right now. It's certainly, in my opinion, structured. I like the structure better than, well, it's way better than Salt. Salt is a dumpster fire, but Salt gives you 70% loan to value, but you get nuked if you take 70% and the market S's the bed. So you just have to be very careful. The only way I would do, you just have to be very careful about how you exit, and you have to look at the cost and the benefit, so you can stake a lot of these assets, and the staking sometimes is close to or the same. Now, let me give you an example. What if Nexo said, hey, stake your not staking, put your Cardano here. Put your Cardano here and we'll give you 7% or 9%. So you'd have to say, 7%, I wouldn't do it because we're getting between 6 and 7% already. And you have platform risk. 9%? And I can borrow against it? Well, that changes things, doesn't it? So I don't know. It's interesting. So you just have to do the math. Jerry got into Nexo before I did. Jerry got into Nexo way before I did. And we had been talking about it for a while before I was ready to pull the trigger on anything like that. So it is interesting, but these lending type vehicles, these lending facilities, which will lend against your crypto, that's going to become the norm. And my guess is within 18 months, regular banks will be doing it. Ocean Dawn, what up? JR80, Crypto Dad. Good to see all of you. So, yeah. And Gordon, I don't know if I said hello, but hello to Gordon Bennett. Okay. So there's nothing really exciting on there, although Maker is making its way up. And again, it doesn't matter that it's $2,300 a token. This is all just about return on investment. If you put $7 in there and it does 100%, you made 100%. Doesn't matter what the token costs. You're buying in fractions. Matter of fact, these token prices don't matter. Period. And when we can get out of that kind of dumb thinking that because something's cheap, it's going to do better. No. The problem is a lot of people believe that. And so right now, that is probably still the case. The assets that look cheaper, even if they're not higher quality assets, if they just look cheaper, they get a lot of eyeballs. In California, they just pushed back the rental, the forbearance and the eviction moratorium. They just pushed it back to September 30th, thereby screwing all those landlords again. And they're like, "Oh, we'll just take the money from the state." You can't just take the money from the state. It's crazy. So instead of June, it was going to be this month. There was already people around. Like I could see people moving out because they were trying to front run the evictions. I bet they are angry. I had to go to a new apartment where I have to pay again, and I could have been going for free. I wonder how many of those people will get into brand new apartments or condos or whatever and then not pay and try to get them for another couple of months. Anyway, the moratorium on eviction has been extended in California to September 30th. This is a very bad thing. And they're saying, well, people aren't ready yet. The jobs aren't here. And da-da. The jobs aren't going to be here. This is the thing. If you keep pushing it back where people don't have to pay rent and they keep getting free money, there are no jobs, dummies. Where are you going to? Oh, yeah, I'm getting paid $700 a week to sit at home, but I can go to work for $500 a week or whatever, because the kind of jobs that are available are, let's face it, they're kind of crummy, like restaurant jobs. You're not exactly stacking, you're not stacking sats with your extra cash, delivering drinks and things like that. And it's cool. If you don't have a choice, that's what you do. But you have to remember, your life is made up of hours and you have to decide how you want to spend them. Hopefully those people that sat on the couch see what I would have done if I was getting that check. I would have gotten the check and I would have gone and done construction, worked under the table, something to get a double paycheck. And if I was really going to screw the man, I would say, okay, fine, I'm screwing everyone. I would get a double paycheck. I would get my Fed check, my state check. I would get under the table work. I will put that in my back pocket. So I'm stacking like a 2.5 income. Then I wouldn't pay rent, because once you haven't paid one rent, what are you going to do? Pay them all up? No one's going to pay all their rent back. These people are just going to get bounced. They don't even care. They know that an eviction in a good court system takes another 3 months. In a bad system, 8 to 10 months. So do the math. They push the moratorium 3 more months. That's 3 more months of rent. Those people are not going to pay. They're clearly not going to pay, because now they know, I got a stay of execution. I'm not going to get evicted. And then it's going to be another 3 months. I still won't pay. If they get the eviction, it's another 3 months. So now we're talking 6 extra months of no one paying rent. Who's going to bail out the landlords? Well, the state of California says, oh, we've got enough money to cover it. Right. The state of California, which has a completely insolvent pension plan. What do you think the state pension's doing? Like, hey, wait a minute. You can't just give all this money away. We're bankrupt. Like, no, that's different. That's a different problem. You go to the Fed for that. You guys see how this stuff at some point they're going to print money. They just haven't yet. But at some point, Jerry and I were talking about this yesterday. They can't keep having all these problems and nobody working. And by the way, about 15 million of these jobs are never coming back. You guys get this? 15 million jobs are never, ever returning, ever. And so you go, well, that's probably bad. That's probably not good. And if those jobs are gone because of the deflationary effects of new technology and smaller workforce necessity and smaller commercial footprint and all these things, and those jobs are gone, what happens to the new 15 or so million unemployed that there's nowhere to go? There's no job. They don't have a choice. Someone's going to cut that check. And so at some point, and although we haven't seen it yet, at some point inflation is coming. And so then when you hear on the other side of it, the Fed talking about, well, we're going to talking about raising rates in 2023. Right. I was reminded by Jerry yesterday. What was it when Powell in late 2018, when he said, remember the taper tantrum where he said, we're going to raise rates. We're going to raise rates 3 times this year. He didn't even get the words out of his mouth. He had his phone blowing up. Trump was like, what?
It didn't happen.
So he immediately calls Jerome to the White House and says, you're going to unwind all that. And Trump was just doing it to protect the economy. Well, to protect his image during whatever. It doesn't matter why he did it. He did it. And I think probably at the Fed, they were relieved because they realized, well, one, I hope they realized that they don't understand markets. But I think they also realized that it's cool because these politicians, if they play chicken with these politicians, the politicians will always crack because it's the incentives. The incentives for politicians are so much shorter. I got to get reelected. I got to get reelected. I got to get reelected. And so, and to an extent, the Fed chairman, they're all politicians and usually the chairman, he gets bumped a lot. But the president of the various Federal Reserve banks, those 12 banks, those Fed chiefs, they stay in place for a long time. And so for them, it's their game theory is a little different. Cassandra, good to see you. Let's see. I don't know what that is. Cassandra Elliott. No links, man. I gotta time out you. Bro. I don't want people clicking on links and they get their stuff stolen, man. We don't need anyone's stuff stolen. That's wrong. The markets are going to steal our money. Bad behavior is going to steal our money. Poor trading habits and leverage, that's what's going to steal our money. Certainly not a bad, unerrant link. Okay, so what's exciting? Yeah. Oh, the Fed. It's like that little kid at a birthday party running around with his pants down and no one wants to say anything. And you're like, where are his parents? Like, I don't know. I think his uncle Steve is out front. He's drunk. Where's his mom? I don't know. I don't know if she came. Anyway, someone spray some water on that kid. Get him out of here. All right. Anyway, that's the Fed. Okay. So there's nothing super exciting. 24-hour price changes. Cybervein, never heard of it. I'm sure we will never hear of it again. Anchor, have heard of it. Not sure yet. It does keep popping up. I'm just not sure. Dapper Labs, listen, Flow is cheap, you guys. Flow is cheap. It's $8. 3 months ago, it was almost 40. So it just jumped onto my list, especially with the partnership with Rarible. It's on my list now, and I think I need to add some Flow. I think it's in the range. And I made some good money off of Rune. I bought Rune yesterday. That was my major. I bought Rune and I bought Fetch. And so Rune popped like 50% or something like that. I don't know. It's not on here, but it's way up. Anyway, so cool. That's all I have for that. Let's take a look at prices. So we're at 33,722 for the Bitcoin. It's up about 5.5% on the day. Pretty good little pop. Ethereum is up also a little bit higher, which goes against my plan. So I had a plan yesterday that I was going to enact. And I talked to Jerry about it. I always call Jerry when I have an idea. And I say, Jerry, this is a sanity check. Am I being Nick-tarded right now? And my idea was to convert half of my Bitcoin to Ethereum, because I think looking at these prices, to me, what's more likely? We get back to 4,000 Ethereum. I'm talking about in the next 90 days. Real quick, Jared, where can you get Flow? You can get Flow on gate.io, gate.io. Don't click a link, look it up in Google, set up an account, gate.io. You can buy it there, and then you push it to Flow's actual platform. And matter of fact, I will get you that email. I'll get you that web address, and you can stake Flow. It is port.onflow.org, staking and delegate. But if you just go to the main site, let me just get you the main site, because that's probably important. I will put it right in a banner. I'm putting it in a banner so you don't click it. I don't want anyone to ever click any. Yes, but you can't buy Flow at Kraken. You can only place it there if you're a United States resident. Okay, let's see. Let me put this here. So for anybody that wants to get them some Flow, or that wants to stake their Flow, go to port.onflow.org, and that's where you stake it. I'm not making this a clickable link because I don't want you to click. I want you to type your way there and make sure you're actually there. Cool. Okay, bros. That's that. Let me pocket that. Okay, so the Bitcoin is moving in tandem with Ethereum, but I think over the next 90 days. So here's what's in my mind. Over the next 90 days, a variety of things roll out. One, we have a more full implementation of Polkadot. We already had the first parachain slot that was selected. I think it auctioned for 96 million yesterday. It was the test net to Akala that will run on Kusama. And you're starting to see this a lot with these projects where they'll run a test net. The Polkadot projects will run a test net or some kind of quasi project or pre-product or pre-shipping product, pre-consumer product on Kusama, and when it's ready, they'll try to push it over to Polkadot. So Akala, I haven't been talking about it a lot, but it's on the radar. And their parachain, their test net is now parachain. So that's pretty exciting. And there's even more auctions going on today. There's all sorts of cool stuff going on. So my guess is these protocols are going to get quite a bid over the next 90 days. So who wins? I say, okay, well, who wins? That's how I want to invest. So Bitcoin getting to 64,000. Does that happen in the next 90 days? My guess, no. But who cares, right? Who cares about my guess? Ethereum getting to 4,000. I think it's more likely. I don't know. My guess is we're in the threes, but I think it's more likely as we get through towards the edge of the summer into the early fall. Cardano, I think will do great because they'll get through. Alonzo will be done. Goguen is live. We have smart contracts. We have DeFi. We have 5 million. By the way, if you listen to the Lex Friedman interview, 5 million is the starting point for the deal in Ethiopia with the student records. That's going to scale up to within 18 months to 24 million. Think about that. So a year and a half. So we're going to add 24 million, between 5 million and 24 million new users to Cardano. That's something you might want to, keep in your brain. Red, what up? So yeah, it can hurt. Man, if they had Cardano, if you could put Cardano on Nexo, I would right now, this second, I would probably put a lot. I would go 3/4. I would break it up into fifths, and I would go 20% Ethereum, 20% Polkadot, 60% Cardano on Nexo, collecting that yield. If my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle. Okay, so anyway, kind of interesting. Some little game theory plays there. Anyway, okay, let's keep on looking. Polkadot's still really cheap. It's $15, man. Jesus. So cheap. It's up 5%. You're noticing all these kind of protocol assets. Oh, they're kind of behaving the same. Matter of fact, many of them are just pacing off of the Bitcoin. Boop, 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 boop. We're all within about just about a 0.5% for just about all these guys. Matic for 4.6%. I think Matic is still cheap. It's still down on the week, 22%. So it's still almost 9% lower still on the week. It didn't catch a bid. And it makes sense, right? There's less eyeballs. Theta, nice little pop, still down 20%. VeChain, 7. I don't know, man. I'm less and less excited about VeChain, except there is one interesting thing. If China is going anti-Bitcoin, anti-crypto, VeChain is really well dialed and plugged into the Chinese government and to the banking system, or at least to the banks that work with it. And they didn't get the thumbs down. VeChain's not getting bumped. And they don't have a bunch of mining rigs all over the country. So be careful. Don't just dump VeChain thinking it's a China thing and all things China suck, because there's a chance that VeChain catches a fat bid and this thing could be back to a quarter, 30, 40 cents almost overnight if the Chinese government gives them the thumbs up. It's kind of got the de facto, the kind of quasi thumbs up already. Hootie, good to see you. And Crypto Gamer 420. Scott Helmet, good to see you. Hope you guys are doing good. VeChain is the only one that's approved by the Chinese government. Yeah. So I wouldn't say to dump your VeChain yet. While I don't think it's technologically competitive, it certainly isn't, right? It's not competitive technically, software-wise, with Polkadot nor Cardano nor Algorand nor, right, you could go down the list. Certainly not near, but it doesn't matter. If they're the only ones allowed in China, that's a big deal. So don't dump your VeChain just yet. I'm not going to say add to it. I would start adding again under 5 cents. 5 cents or below, I would be a buyer. But time will tell. Cosmos, I don't care. Something about Cosmos just kind of irks me. It's irksome. I actually exited my position completely. Telcoin, I would hold on. I think it's oversold. I think it's undervalued. The price is correct, but I think it's undervalued. I think we're gonna see another pump out of that guy or gal or pronoun undisclosed. Engine is unloved right now. It's down 30%. It shouldn't be. But you sell these peripheral assets. This is what happens when there's a sell-off. You start cutting off limbs, right? You're starving to death. You're freezing to death. You start cutting off fingers. You cut off the hand. Then you cut off the elbow. It's like you just cut off pieces. Let's see. Near. I think Near is inexpensive right now. It's undervalued. So I would be adding to Near under $3. So it's part of the list of assets I would add. Nexo, I still think Nexo is undervalued. Remember, it was $4. It was $4 7 weeks ago. Oh, what a long time ago that was. Graph tokens it's sold off far too much, in my opinion. So I think it's a buy. AR is a buy. AR is especially a buy right now with because it's a Polkadot. Think of it as Filecoin for Polkadot. So $12 is cheap, inexpensive, undervalued, unloved, unwanted. Look, everybody is up except for AR. AR is getting kicked in the nuts, and every other token is up except for Telcoin. And because people aren't looking at it, but this is a token that was $32. So again, and you have to compare it to itself, right? So that's almost a 3x, 280%. You say, okay, where were these other? Well, there's probably more. There's more bang for your buck in Nexo. This Graph token was almost $3. There's a potential 4 or 5x right there. Near got close to, it got above 6, didn't it? So there's a token that's got a 2. You notice, Patrick, what's up, buddy? A lot of these tokens have a 2 or a 3x potential embedded in them. Rune was $19, bro. It was $19. I picked it up yesterday for $4. Like 4 and change. Just $4.18. I think $4.18. So anyway, Flow 24% on the day, 25%. The deal with Rarible, I'm guessing, is factoring into that. No one knows for sure. OGN, I'm going to be honest. I don't know, man. I think it will do fine. I think it should do fine. It's got a tiny, tiny market cap. But none of the things that they do are all that exciting. Software-wise, technically, technologically, the stuff they do is awesome. But there's no real strategy to let the world know what they're doing. Their NFT their foray into NFTs is like a taped on fail. It's kind of like, please, everyone's doing it, some NFT thing. Try, get off the gas. So I don't know about OGN. Would this be a place to enter? It's cheap, but I'm not sure. I don't know how to value this thing. I just don't know. And of course, in a bull market, everything will be immensely successful. I think this thing almost got to $3, but here we are. Fetch. I think Fetch is still way down from where it should be. Okay. He's such a genius. I know. Is he a genius? Okay. So, what else is, so I think Fetch is still at an extreme discount. I like 20 cents. Audio is starting to come back up, but it's an extreme discount. Look at that. It's still down 30% on the month, 30 on the week. Most of that damage, most of the punishment it took was in the last 3 days. NKN, I'm kind of over it. And that was one, that I really got into. I didn't follow my own advice. I wasn't sold on NKN. I wasn't excited about it, but it kept popping up. It kept popping up. And I didn't take a big position. It was like it was a tiny position, but it doesn't matter. It was a bad choice. Apparently the new kind of network is, what they mean by that is the kind of network that doesn't have any network effects, unfortunately. So you got to hope they'll do something. And, the market cap is great, right? 75 million bucks. We could probably take the people in this chat and we could probably buy their every available token. But because something is cheap and inexpensive doesn't make it have value. I don't think, now there may be price moves in NKN, but I don't think there's much value there. I'm certainly not going to be adding to it, although it's probably ripe for a pop because it's unloved. And again, in an up market, all of these assets are going to do quite well. But I've not heard of NKN doing anything, like nothing. If anybody else has, please post something in the comments. But I haven't heard anything. In biotech breakout, yes, Neo is it's China's kind of quasi Ethereum, and it did pretty well. Render. Okay, let me tell you why I like Render. Remember when I was saying the other day, was it last week? I said there was a project I was looking at and I wasn't going to say anything. It's Render. And it's because, I like the Beeple stuff. I like the NFTs, and I follow Beeple and I look at his artwork, and he partnered up with the people at Render, and they're doing something, meaning I'm thinking that's kind of cool. He's got a lot of sway. He's got a lot of stroke. He's the highest priced paid selling NFT artist in history. And he's the third ranked artist in history for having a piece sold, like the value of one piece. So my guess is there's whatever that something looks like is probably pretty valuable. So I want to own Render. Now, I got it at like 60 cents. So this is a discount of almost 50%. And it was kind of floating around 50 cents. Anyway, this looks good. So I will probably add some Render to my little Render stash and try to get my kind of dollar cost average into it. Matrix AI, terrible platform, terrible staking, awful wallet, zero description, zero. Look, the platform is a zero, but it's an AI. You can get some AI exposure. I don't think anybody's looking at it. The market cap is dust. It's prime for a pump. Doesn't Hunter B sell his artwork on Render? Yeah, he may. I don't know the full details behind Render as far as that. I only knew it as far as that Mike, Beeple, is working with them on something. And so my guess is if he sells something through them or something where you have to have the token, that freaking token is going to skyrocket, because look at how people fumble over themselves to buy Beeple's artwork right now, like me, like idiots. AGIX is 15 cents. It got down to 11 cents yesterday. So do I want to add? Yes, I do. So I will be adding AGIX. I will be adding to Render. I will be adding to Fetch. I will be adding to Flow. Those are my cool guys of the day. Yeah. So that price wise, let's see. Scott, NFTs aren't securities. Nope, they are not. Or at least the SEC hasn't said they are. No, because a lot of people, it's like saying, is artwork a security? No. Now, you could sell equity in a piece of artwork, and that would get into an interesting kind of thought path. If I took an NFT and I sold the equity, if I broke the equity up into a token, like let's say I took this Beeple and I created 100 tokens, and each token equaled 1% of this piece of art. And then when we sell it, everybody gets a piece of that, right? That'd be kind of interesting, wouldn't it? We could trade 1% ownership, and obviously you would be doing that for price appreciation. So that would be an equity, but it would be the token that's the equity, not the non-fungible token itself. The NFT, the piece of artwork ascribed to that unique token, would not be the equity. So it would be a piece of equity, but it wouldn't be a security in the sense of a security as far as the SEC is concerned. Okay. This is a company out there that allows you to invest in a piece of an artist's work. Yes, there's probably some kind of facsimile of everything that you can imagine. So I'm sure somewhere somebody has tokenized and broken that token into equity shares or tokenizing of a piece of art. I mean, I would do it I would actually do it with this Beeple. That'd be kind of cool. Like I could take it because right now this one piece of art that I got, the Abundance, is trading between the lowest ask is 50K and the highest is 300K or 460. So I would probably take my Beeple, I would break it into 100 chunks, 101% tokens, and I would sell each one for $1,000. And then we're kind of in the middle, right? Like 50 is the low, 460 is the high. We we accept offers. We post it out there for 250K and we just hang it out there. And in the meantime, because everybody owns a piece of it, they can have the artwork, they can display it, it's like they own a Beeple. They just own 1% of a Beeple. That'd be kind of cool. So yeah. Keep that in the back of your minds. If you can imagine it, you can do it. Let's see. Hunter and his grandma could share a bowl with discussing his art. Yeah. Oh, for sure. That'd be cool. Grandma would love it. She wouldn't be, conscious, but she'd love it. Let's see. VideoTuber says the artist pay for that power. Those who rent their GPU are paid in render. That's cool. That's cool. So solo artists with one computer can have the rendering power to render a Toy Story-like movie. Okay, so it's kind of like the BitTorrent type thing where it's a shared bandwidth, shared compute. So you can buy the render token, you can borrow some hash power, some render power, and you can put some really cool some really cool artwork together, can't you? So that's badass. Well, yeah. I think that's pretty cool. So VideoTuber says 3D's resource hungry. Yeah, we know that. Those 3D movies take forever to render. It can take 5 hours to render one frame on one computer. There are 24, 25 frames per second in a movie. Yeah. Gollum token tried to be a world computer, though, and Gollum was a fail. Even for big studio, it can be useful. Yeah. So there you go. Take a closer look at render. I'm going to put a little banner. Everybody do a little research. You might get excited. Matter of fact, why don't we go to the big screen? RNDR. What are you doing? RNDR. Boom. There we go. So we're looking at render right here. Kind of cool. And you can look at the price action from many moons ago. It got to... Whoa. And this thing popped like a mofo back in the end of March. Oh, that was right around Beeple's artwork, wasn't it? $2.64. And all the way back down. And we're kind of at a near term. Well, we're at the bottom. We may not be at the bottom, but we're somewhere close to it. So if we're at 43 cents, and it hasn't really popped like a lot of these other tokens have. So it's something to think about, and keep it in the back of your mind. But it's something that I'm looking at, and I'm not just looking at it. I'm going to add to it today. I will be adding, and I can tell you when I like something is when I'm willing to sell some Cardano for it. So I think I sold the other day a few Cardano and bought some render. I'd like to build up to a 1% position in render. So if I have $100, I want $1 of it to be in render, because I don't have any exposure to that. Who has exposure to 3D rendering power? And if you like that kind of market, you like Theta, you like BTT, even though BTT is, It's a Justin Lee project, which makes it suck because everything Tron sucks because he doesn't know. He's an idiot. But the idea of shared bandwidth, listen, we're in a sharing economy. So the idea of sharing all of these assets makes a lot of sense. It should make a lot of sense to all of us. So not financial advice. This project solves a real problem for artists and studios. Yeah, this thing could be, God, can you imagine? This thing really gets some stroke and it's $10 a token or something this time next year. And everybody's like, bleh! Like, where's the next Cardano? Well, Cardano's the next Cardano. But where's the next? Well, this isn't that. It's not a smart contract platform, but it is still cool. It solves a real problem. And if you solve a real problem, a lot of times you benefit from it. So I'm not telling anyone to buy it, but I am telling you that I own it, and I'm probably going to add to it while it's in the doldrums. Plus, I was in the 60s when I bought it, 60 cents something, and I was like, ugh. And I kept seeing the price come down, and 60 cents looked good until it was 50 cents, and I was like, bleh. So it is what it is. Okay. Let's see. We could call it Grandma NFT would be great. Yeah. I could do a Grandma NFT, but I don't think the world would be a better place. The world would be a much worse place. Okay. Let's go back to our blister. Let's go to the top. Okay, so the Bitcoin is doing fine. Everything's doing fine compared to yesterday. But if you go back a week, of course, we're getting beat up. If you go back 6 weeks, we're getting absolutely crushed. Everybody's depressed. We're crying. Everybody's miserable. But are we out of the woods yet? And that goes back to the main discussion of the day. So cryptocurrency markets are green for now. How should you trade, think, behave? Well, what I think you should do, what I think all of you should do is research. I think all of you should go back through your portfolio and you should look at all of the assets and decide, rebalance them, reweight them, decide what you believe in and what you don't believe in. And when you get a day like this where it bounces back a little bit of a respite, maybe we get a follow-on day. Maybe tomorrow's an up day. And then we're back to going into Friday and there's a vacuum of information. And my guess is we're back to getting kicked in the nuts again. And are you, how did you feel over the last few days? Did you enjoy that? Did you panic? And so you have to think, how are you going to behave the next time this happens? And what if this happens for 6 weeks straight? Are you going to rage quit? Are you going to exit? Are you going to panic? And if so, which are the assets that you're likely to sell? And don't think about, is it a loss? Am I losing money? Don't get into the whole sunk cost fallacy or the reverse of that, where you start saying, oh, I like this thing. I used to like it and it's cheap, so I'm just going to buy it because it's cheaper. No, that's sunk cost, right? It's a fallacy. It's a cognitive bias. That's what they call throwing good money after bad, irrational escalation. Okay. And you have to be very careful that you don't succumb to that you don't fall victim to that. And so I would urge everyone today to go through your portfolio, every single asset. And I want you to write them, get a separate piece of paper, and you need 2 pens, 3 pens, really, if you want to be a badass, a green pen, a black pen, and a red pen. You know where this is going. You're going to write down every single asset, and you're going to write down the percentage that you own in your portfolio. You say, oh, that's a lot of work. Well, if it's a lot of work, you don't deserve to manage your own finances. Pay someone else to do it. All right? You should be doing this. Even if someone else manages your money, you should still do this. I want you to write down all of your assets. And then I want you to to underline with a little green. I love this asset. I know what it does. I can explain it to grandma. Underline with green the assets that you cannot live without. Then I want you to underline with red the assets that you don't trust anymore for whatever reason. Doesn't have to be anything. Don't leverage me. Leverage you. You don't feel comfortable about it. You don't like the price action. You don't like the story. maybe the information for you, maybe the narrative has changed for you. Underline it in red. Write all your percentages down. The first thing you're going to do is look at rebalancing your portfolio. Now, I wouldn't do a rebalancing right now. I would wait for the market to grab some kind of stability, some kind of stasis. But I would be looking at where you need to rebalance. And at least if new money's coming in, or if you're selling some of those red assets, then you use the sales to rebalance your portfolio. It doesn't matter if you're down. You're probably way up from when you started a year ago or 6 months ago or whatever. So it doesn't matter if you've technically lost money. Do some tax harvesting. Who cares? Take the loss. Get back into assets that you trust better. If the only thing you trust is Bitcoin or Ethereum or Card or whatever, then go balls deep in those. You have to sleep at night. You're the one who has to live with your portfolio, not anybody else. And no one can tell you how that thing should look. You can tell you. There's a lot of people, I look at their portfolios, and to me, they look ridiculous. Ridiculous. But they can sleep at night. If you can sleep at night and you know what these assets do and you're okay with it, then it's not ridiculous to you. And it really doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. You are the one who has to sleep at night. Do you want to sleep like an old person, like a 70-year-old who just sleeps so peacefully? Or do you want to sleep like a baby, which is apparently waking up every 2 hours and screaming and crying? Also from the Lex Friedman interview with Charles Hoskinson. Carso, it's good to see you. So anyway, I urge you to do that and to look at your portfolio and to be honest about it and to decide if your portfolio makes sense right now. And yeah, the lottery tickets. Ladies and gentlemen and new friends, pronouns undiscussed, Basha Nation, all of you, look at what you own, look at the lottery tickets and decide if they make sense. And if you still want the lottery ticket, if you want to keep it, just be honest with yourself that it could go to near zero. Nothing actually goes to zero, but it could go to near zero. And you better be able to stomach that. You better be able to eat that punch right in the neck, like right in the freaking throat button. If you can eat that, good on you. But you don't get to complain. This is the other thing too. You don't get to own these junk assets and then complain about it. If you own junk, and you know you do, and it's just gambling, be honest with yourself. Okay, these are junk. These are crap. Like junk bonds. People that buy junk bonds. If you own GameStop and you're willing to let them, Jesus, man. You realize they're printing. They're basically printing. They just created a bunch more stock, and they're just spitting it out on the market. 1.3 billion, I think. You're letting this bankrupt ass company, they said, we're going to get into NFTs. Okay, GameStop, stop. Right? You're letting them just dust you off and you're okay with it. If you own GameStop, you're an idiot. So at least be honest about why you own it. I own it because I'm gambling, because I think the people at Wall Street Bets, before they get indicted and go to jail, and you better bet that's coming. You think the SEC and all these guys are going to sit back and watch these hedge funds get crushed? No, that's their homies. So, yeah, Cuban. So think about it. They're going after these dudes. They're still going after the ICOs in the crypto space from 2017. If you were a part of a scammy ICO, guess what's coming? A letter from the SEC. It is coming. They are coming after everyone because it's easy money. It's low-hanging fruit. Everyone broke the law. All of them. Literally all of them. Even Ethereum, and they paid the fine. EOS, and they paid the fine. But these smaller companies don't have $20, $30 million checks they can cut. The SEC is coming, boys and girls. And guess who else they're coming to? GameStop. All these guys that are pushing GameStop on a bunch of idiot, compliant, rube, dummies, lemmings. So look at the behavior of these companies. They realize they have a vigilant Reddit community that's bailed them out of insolvency. Now, Have they learned anything? Have they learned a lesson about corporate governance or about managing a business, managing assets, managing a balance sheet? No. What they've learned is if you get a bunch of jerks over on Reddit to pump your crappy meme coin, and I mean GameStop, Ford, Hertz. It's in the name. These guys are so dirty. You realize they're using, this is the thing that gets me. This is the thing that really gets me. It's the same with the XRP community. The XRP community, I love the community. I love a good vigilant community, but they're so stupid. Yes, stupid, because they are supporting Ripple, a company that dilutes them as a matter of business, that sells against them at a discount. Did they sell to you at a discount? Did you ever get an email from Brad Garlinghouse, Brad Garlic-Mouth, or Chris Grand Larceny that you could buy XRP at a 20 or 30% discount with no lockups, and you could just go and directly sell it on the market? Did you get that email? I didn't get that email. Jerry, did you get that email, Jerry? The we can buy at a discount and immediately sell to the market. Oh, and at the same time, then Bread goes on CNBC and says, I've never been more bullish. And the community, this is what I don't understand, why the community supports that kind of behavior. It's the same thing. The people at GameStop, at Hertz, Ford, what's the new AMC? These are broken companies that can't manage their assets. They can't run a business. That's why they're broke. That's why they were all bankrupt. So going against it in the short term is kind of fun. Like, haha, we're punishing these rich fat cats on Wall Street. We're punishing them. No, dude, you're letting them, these companies, GameStop, AMC, Ford, you know what they're doing? They're diluting. They're putting out more shares because they know a bunch of compliant idiots are buying, and they don't understand what apparently no one on Reddit understands what dilution is. You're letting them dilute. Another thing, when you pump their stock up, they take a bunch of that convertible debt, these debts that they borrowed with convertible notes, basically like, hey, loan me $10,000. And if the price is X amount of the stock, I'll either pay you interest. Well, I'll pay you interest. And if the stock gets to this price, you can convert that debt to equity. They're letting all of these bad businesses get out of jail for free because they're pumping the stock up thinking they're like, we're getting the man. No, they're not. 5 or 6 people on Reddit are getting rich, and the rest of you are getting stuck. You're getting stuck, and you're getting diluted, and you're getting devalued, and they are fucking laughing at you. If you own GameStop, Ford, or AMC, Hertz, any of these meme stocks, they are fucking laughing at you like an idiot. The same people that are telling you to do this, the same people that are engineering these moves are laughing at you. You know who else is laughing at you? All of the very terrible business people that let these companies fall into insolvency. They're laughing at you because when they were looking for a greater fool, they found it. Out of bankruptcy, you have resurrected these assholes to sell directly to you because you're too fucking stupid to understand what's actually happening. I'm sure this won't get out. No one's going to listen to this stuff because no one cares. They're like, oh man, I like these gains though. Okay. I'll like to talk to you in 16 months. When you get evicted, when you're out on your ass, those gains are done. Those dudes that were pushing you have been arrested by the SEC. Those dudes, those scummy idiots over at Ford and Hertz and AMC that were running bad businesses, and GameStop that were running bad businesses, have finally bankrupted you. But wait, they got to hoover up billions of new money. They got to hoover up all of your stimulus money. They got to hoover up all the money you weren't paying on rent. They got to hoover up all of the free state and federal cash. They took all that from a bunch of fucking idiots. And then they just made their senior debt holders good. And everybody else, they get stuck. So you get what you get. You get what you get. And if people don't understand how the gears of these markets work, so just be very careful. And this is a long, circuitous way of saying, if you own a lottery ticket, just be honest that you own a lottery ticket. A fool and his money will soon be departed. Yes, well said, just like the casino and the gambler. Right. So just be honest with yourself. Yes, AMC has been a good lottery ticket. That's right. But you just got to be honest about it. Baykeeper, that's the way to approach it. I know this is a scam. I know this is a broken, bankrupt company. I know, look at the world that we live in. Do you think big box movie theaters? I mean, isn't this just this is Blockbuster all over again? You realize that, right? There is zero difference. Zero. It's the same thing. We consume content with these. We consume content right here like we're doing right now. Is anybody here catching the show in a movie theater? Please, unless you work there and you're watching it on your phone. Of course not. This is just the way the world's going. You got to be honest with yourself. I mean, bing, 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 bing. Don't be, Anyway, a lot of people are going to lose a lot of money, and they're all going to have these stories. Oh, I made so much money. Really? Where is it? Well, I lost it because the company this, and they diluted, and I lost the shares, and then I sold. So we all make money, right? Let's say we all make money on AMC. Cool. Woo woo. They're issuing new stock, by the way, so that their secured debt holders, their buddies, can get made good. And then you go, oh, okay, cool. So we're funding their get out of jail free card for all of these bad businessmen that can't run a business. And now they're talking about expanding. AMC is going to buy this, and you're going to buy some. What do you mean you're going to buy something? You need to be shutting down locations so that you can hold maybe 1 in 10 of your big box theaters can survive. Why are you expanding? Oh, well, we want to let the community know that we're here. What kind of crazy nonsense is this? But this is the last thing I'll leave you with. Jerry and I talked about this yesterday too. Because something is flawed in thinking, because something is cognitively biased, because something is wrong-minded, because something is stupid or ignorant or foolish or dumb, doesn't mean that 51% of the people won't do it. And so the reality is, Hollow Apollo, what's up? The reality is sentiment and panic and FOMO, they're pretty effective right now. And you have a lower aggregate IQ in the investment space. It's probably the dumbest the investment space has ever been. There was a fund yesterday that unwound. And when they were talking, and when I say unwound, I mean they're out of business. They're doing forced redemption for everyone. They're giving all the money back. And they were part of the whole, they got punished by Wall Street Bets and that compliant community of idiots. And they said, it's not because of GameStop that we're leaving, but it's because of the kind of people that are trading GameStop and the mentality in the investor space that has washed out the potential for, correct investment thought. And there is something to that. I'm paraphrasing. Basically what he said was, the space is full of people that don't know what they're doing. And because they don't know what they're doing, they become irrational actors. It's a lot of that. It is a lot of that. I hate to say it, but it is a lot of that. It's a lot of irrational actors in the space. And when you have, it's very tough to apply game theory to irrational players. There's the assumption in game theory that all the players are rational and will try to maximize their payoffs. But what happens when the average person across the table from you doesn't even know the rules to the game, doesn't even care to know the rules to the game, doesn't even understand what they have no idea. Yes. And the thing about economic anarchy, well said, economic anarchy is that it's unpredictable. You can't predict the machinations of chaos. You just sit back and go, well, this is going to be a mess. So what I say is, because there's so much information and so much noise and so much bad behavior, And it's impossible to imagine what an idiot would do unless you're an idiot. And then you don't have the ability to probably VR process that. So I think the best thing to do is to take your balance sheet, to write it down on a piece of paper, to get a red, a black, and a green pen, to circle with green the assets you believe in and that you understand, to circle with red the assets that you know are garbage, and to start rebalancing and get your portfolio back to something that makes a lot of sense to you. Because the world does not make sense right now, and that's okay. Don't try to grapple with it. Don't try to front run idiots. You'll never front run idiots correctly, right? Because it's idiots that are being pushed by some very clever individuals, many of whom will end up in jail, some of whom won't. But the point is, you can't game theorize that out. And so since you can't, all you can do is reduce it to yourself. You reduce it to yourself and you say, okay, this is what I like. This is what I don't like. These are my few tiny little lottery tickets. Stake as many of these assets as you can off of exchanges. Don't leverage exchanges unless the risk is worth the reward. And just keep doing research and look and make sure that the story doesn't meaningfully change on the assets that you like. That's it. All you can do is your own research and just sleep well at night. There's a lot of bad behavior, but does anybody want to guess where all of this ends? Does anybody think that all these bad companies with bad managers that just got a new influx of cash, do you think anything different's going to happen? Do you think giving them, like your insolvent uncle or something, do you think just giving him more money solves the problem? Like, did you just give him an education? Did you just give him IQ points, or did you just give him a stay of execution? They're still serial killers. They're still going to steal from you. They're stealing from you right now. If you own AMC stock, they are stealing from you and you're okay with it. If you own Hertz or GameStop or Ford or any of these other stupid meme assets, they're stealing from you. You are financing their get out of jail free card. They need to go bankrupt, all of them. And the assets need to end up in the hands of companies who will do something with those assets, who know how to manage, that have some fiduciary responsibility. Let better companies cannibalize the bad companies. But if you give these guys a get out of jail free card, well, you've already done it. So if you're one of the people that participated in all that, you can rationalize it and justify it as, yeah, but I made some money. But in the long run, you've made the world, you participated in making the investment space a worse place, period. You can say whatever you want. You can couch it whatever you want. You can have your little self-serving, oh no, it's because of this, and I'm just playing the trend. No, it's all bullshit. You're financing economic serial killers, and you're cool with it. So as long as you're cool with it, good for you. And on that, be honest with yourself. If nothing else, just be honest. Stay out of trouble, stay in school. Don't do anything my poor insolvent drunk strung out on meth grandmother wouldn't do. She's high as a kite today. High as a kite. And just remember, I guess this degenerated into a crypto markets are green down to a being careful about scams sermon, but even grandma knows what a scam is.
Thank you for calling in Microsoft. How may I help you?
No. That's a scam.
Hey, this is the Prophet with Nick Black. It's time to chit chat. You know nothing about blockchain. We here to fix that. You want the news on them new stocks? This where you get that. So go and grab you a nice chair. It's time to sit back and talk to Prophet. Hey, you talking to the Prophet? Hey. We talking condos and nice clothes and driving Lambos. I remember them night codes, we couldn't stand those. We tried to drive on them house roads, but had to stay low. Now there's solutions to hard bills we couldn't pay for. I talked to Profit to get some profit, we couldn't change the top. If it's a stock and I need a cop it, I wait for him to drop it. Ain't no option, let's get it poppin'. We chillin' in the trap. I need some crypto, put it in my pocket by any means I rock. This is the Profit with Nick Black. It's time to chit chat. You know nothing about blockchain, we here to fix that. You want the news on them new stocks, this where you get that. So go and grab you a nice chair. It's time to sit back and talk to Profit. Hey, you talking to the Profit. Hey, you talking to the Profit.
It's all fake news. It's phony stuff. It didn't